Hello,
Hey,
Drew. Hello.
Don't hate
Hello.
me.
Hello,
Don't get so
everybody.
mad.
It's episode 650 time. Let's do our 4 count. This is where it gets real, and this is where it gets exciting because we're about to do the big show. So everybody jump in, Mumble Room, you too, on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Four.
Well done, everybody. Well done. God, I'm so proud of you. God, I'm so proud of you.
We've come a long way.
All right. Well, members, if you skipped to this part, you missed a good pre-show. I'm just going to say we had some fun. Right? Good times were had. Here we go, gentlemen. It's the Unplugged program in a 3, in a 2. Hello, friends, and welcome back to your weekly Linux talk show. My name is Chris.
My name is Wes.
And my name is Brent.
Hello, gentlemen. Coming up on the show today, we're finally doing something we've wanted to do for years. In episode 650, we're going on-site, and we're fixing a network and rebuilding it with Linux at the core. Then, of course, we've got some great feedback, some great picks, and some fantastic booze. All that is coming up later on in the show. But before we get to that, let's say hello to our virtual lug who's live with us right now. Time-appropriate greetings, Mumble Room.
Hello, Wes, and hello, Brent.
Oh, hello, gang.
Hello, guys.
Thanks
Hello
for
up there.
joining us.
Everyone up there in the quiet listening too. The Mumble Room's always a rockin' on a Sunday, which is a Tuesday, but on a Sunday. And you can get details at jupiterbroadcasting.com/mumble. And a big good morning to our friends at Defined Networking. Go to defined.net/unplugged and meet Manage Nebula from Defined Networking. It's a decentralized VPN that is built from an open source project. The entire thing is open source. And as I was building out a network using this recently, what really, really is nice is you don't need anyone else's permission to provision a system. It's not somebody else's control plane. Everything is under your control. And if you want something turnkey, they have Managed Nebula. It's such a nice mix between the two. And if you go to define.net/unplugged, you can sign up for 100 devices for free, no credit card required, and try it out. This would be a great way for like your home lab. Experiment with this. And then when it comes time to the enterprise, you can own it from the ground up. And you can watch where the project's going just by paying attention to their GitHub. And there are some fantastic features nobody else is doing coming down the pipe. I'm very excited about the future. And I think it's a great time to try it out. So this is what I'm building on now because I want to own the entire stack, everything. And I don't want to have any big tech between me and my network. And I can trust that Defined is focused on building these things out. It's been around since 2007, Nebula has. It was built for Slack, had to be good from day one, and now it's just everywhere. It's in places you would never expect, like vehicles going down the road right now. It's top, high-end, production-ready, on-the-road stuff, and you can use it. Defined.net/unplugged. Go check out Nebula. It is that good. That's what we're using. And a big thank you to Defined for sponsoring the Unplugged program. Defined.net/unplugged. 48 days remain until Planet Nix and Scale 23.
Oh, boy.
That's not enough days. I
I'm excited. Yeah, Brent, you're behind. But
Don't
gotta
forget,
get the van in shape.
yes, you do. We have a promo code, UNPLUG, UNPLG. You'll get 40% off your Scale tickets.
And that's what you got to do, right? Go sign up for Scale, and then you can just attend Planet Nix. Go sign up too.
Yep. I think we're probably going to have a meetup on Friday or Saturday. We haven't locked that in yet, but I think it's going to happen. And this is one of the big events in North America around free software. And one of the things they do is they have these tracks like Planet Nix, and there are others. We are partial to Planet Nix, but there's some benefit to focused tracks as well, which you might want to look into. There are other ones. The dates to remember are March 5th through the 6th in Pasadena, California. And then shortly...
they always also have great Postgres talks, okay?
They do. They have a great Postgres community there. We also have Linux Fest Northwest coming up just around the corner as well. That's in April. But before we get that far, we would really like to have swag this year. And none of us are really great at this, but we would love to have something by Scale, but definitely for Linux Fest Northwest. So we're putting a call out for ideas to the audience for a shirt. Maybe something to do with Linux Tuesday on a Sunday. Anything you could think of from the show that might make a great shirt, send them to unplugged at jupiterbroadcasting.com. Or maybe tag one of us in Matrix.
Yeah, you can tag me in the Matrix.
Thank you, Wes. He's taking one for the team there. and let us know. And we'll work with you. Like, we'll kick a little back to you or something. I don't know what, because we'll see how they sell. But we'll work with you and thank you for it. And we'd love to have something great pretty quick. So unplugged at jupiterbroadcasting.com, where you can tag Mr. West and come up with a fun idea for the show, something that makes you think about the show. Because why we love these is not only could it be a way to help cover some of the costs of the show during the event, but it really makes it easy to find each other. And that makes the conversation real smooth. You've got an opener right there. Hey, you listen to the show. And it makes the networking aspect of that, for those of us that are not particularly great at the conversation starting, that much smoother. And also means for the boys, we can see in the audience who's there from the show, and it makes it easier for us to find people. And we don't have to have that awkward conversation of, have you listened to my podcast before?
Well, and we feel more, secure because we know we have reinforcements right there.
Call the Army. So we'd love a great swag idea. Shoot them over to us, unplugged at jupiterbroadcasting.com. You never know. We might just use it. You're muted, Brentley.
I was just practicing.
Good, I like that.
Encore.
Well, something we fancy ourselves doing is going out to listeners' businesses, their friends' place, or I don't know, their families' businesses, maybe even home labs, maybe Airbnbs.
Nope, that's a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
We should fix up people's... Oh, my God, we should fix up people's Airbnbs.
Because
yes,
they're probably pretty bad.
We have practice. So basically helping people with their home network setups, business network setups, Airbnb network setups. Everything from Wi-Fi to storage, find those pain points and solve them all. With, of course, as we do, as much Linux as possible. And to get our sea legs, we started local, quite local.
Yeah, in fact, not long ago, my wife moved clinics, and her tech setup has been rough ever since. And I have been like the shoemaker here, where my wife's tech setup is abysmal.
Embarrassing.
And I've been meaning to get to it. And I thought, gee, this is our chance right here. Let's dip our toes and figure out what's going on. And I knew immediately there's a couple of items we had to bang off. Like, she's using a MiFi from like AT&T for some of this, and it's an LTE 4G thing, not even 5G.
Yeah, and not just as the upstream, like as the entire network infrastructure.
Oh my
Yeah, it's bad. And then she has no local storage, so let's just say the backup situation is bad, and the Wi-Fi situation is bad.
Thankfully, though, we didn't have to start from total scratch because she did have some hardware, obviously that MiFi, but also a potential server, a Geekom IT13 Mini PC 2026 from their Mini Air series line.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
13th
cool.
gen Intel i5, 13600H, 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. I guess it came with a Windows 11 Pro. Is that right? Did you see that?
I never even booted it, dude.
Okay, good. It was already rebooted into the NixOS installer by the time I arrived.
Did not bother.
It's got two USB 4.0s up to 40 gigabit per
buddy.
second, 8K quad display support, Wi-Fi 6E, an SD card slot,
Handy.
up to 2 disks possible. You can have a 2.5 SATA SSD, and there's also an M.2 slot in there. Total price was $600.
Yeah, so not the cheapest, but also when you think not what it can do, not that bad. You get a more modern gen, cheap, low power, cool Intel processor. And I think the big thing for us was Wi-Fi 6E in there, 2 storage slots. And this also has been blessed by folks in the Home Assistant community as a good Home Assistant server. And we'll get to that because this
Great
isn't
size too. I mean, just
Yes,
lovely
tiny.
form factor. Felt pretty premium. It was a good product.
It's really a successor to the NUC. It really truly is a successor to the NUC. And it's a good little box, and it's just right out of the box, great compatibility with Linux, and that's what we needed. So then on the Wi-Fi side, we're going to move her from, I had this set up for originally, but then she moved clinics, and I'm going to put it back into action for her. And so it's the OpenWRT1. We already had this, and in fact, it was partially already set up. And so this was just an obvious go-to to move her Wi-Fi clients over to this instead of a MiFi. So this is the hardware we brought. We had this NUC killer, essentially. We had the OpenWRT1 little blue box, the little physical hardware box, and a few other items that you might find to be a little surprising. Did you catch on the parts list here what else I brought?
I'm looking here. So, well, I see a Zigbee radio.
Yeah.
I thought you were a Z-Wave guy.
I am a pretty big Z-Wave stan. I am.
What's going on here then?
Traitor.
I know. Well,
You keep recommending things to me and then changing your
Is
mind.
this back to the don't do as I do thing from
it
the
is.
launch?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, call the launch. Well, so this Zigbee's the right tool for the job on this one. So this she already owned as well. It's a Sonoff Zigbee USB dongle, and it's a nice little dongle. Really good reputation. If she was purchasing it today, I would have had her get the Home Assistant Connect ZBT2, which is their nice new Zigbee dongle. But her clinic isn't particularly large, and I think the coverage is going to be good. And the Sonoff dongle has an antenna that sticks out and goes up a bit, so you get away from the machine a piece.
Yeah, all you had to do, we just had to plug it into the back, and it showed right up on Linux. It was ready to go.
Yeah. And the nice thing this will enable is she'll have control surfaces around the clinic for different lighting and music.
That's nice.
Yeah, and like cleaning mode, and just turn everything up bright and stuff like that. And so those will be Zigbee buttons because they're low power and they're low cost. And then the other thing that we brought is the rather infamous speakers from IKEA that have Sonos guts in them.
The Symfonisk.
Yeah. And these are killer. And I had her pick a couple of these up while they were still for sale. You can still find them in some places because you essentially get a $300, $400 speaker or more in a $150, $180 speaker package. And it integrates perfectly with Home Assistant using the Sonos integration, and you can control everything over the LAN.
Which, I mean, it just seems ideal.
I'm hoping no Sonos app required. And so that'll be how she does some of the, like the weight music or the whatever music she wants to play. I don't know, but she'll do it through these speakers throughout the office.
Sadly, as we're about to get into, that was sort of like, one of the end goals, sort of the nice, I'll go get to play with the fun new speakers and set those up.
We didn't quite get there.
No,
we did not. No, we did not.
Well, Friday morning, you guys were planning to roll up to the clinic, and I would imagine your first priority was to ask Adia what her top issues were?
It's a network makeover day, so I thought I should get from you what are your top 3 or so pain points that you're having right now?
Well, mostly that I just have to slow down because my internet's inconsistent.
Yeah.
I just don't have access to, well, it feels like I'm on dial-up. It's just no good.
And then sometimes your printer drops off the network.
Yeah, and then I got to go search for wherever it is. I suppose it doesn't change where it is, but because my iPad will just switch from whatever network it can get on, I go to print from it, and it's not on the same network, and then I...
Yeah, and the fact that your network is switching on the iPad suggests that the iPad's determined that there's no internet available on your main Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have this one saved, so I'll just switch to that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something we'll take a look at to see if we can't get that more consistent. We brought some hardware that I think could solve that. And I think that's job 1. And then job 2 is I know you have lights and speakers that we need to get working.
It'd probably be good to move out of the 90s because I've been using a physical CD player.
So I think we'll do Home Assistant for that job.
All right.
You're familiar with that.
I'm familiar with that.
So that should be fine.
Office assistant.
Yeah, we'll call it Office. That's a good name
Clinic
for it.
assistant.
Office Assistant. That's what I'll name it. Okay. Little did we know the Wi-Fi would be, and the networking in general would be such a challenge. So that's where we had to start, and that's where we spend a good amount of time. 1password.com/unplugged,
Let's do it.
y'all.
Let's do it. I'm ready to raise.
You ready? You ready? You ready?
Standing by.
Okay. Ready?
I'm going to beat Brent so bad.
Yeah, I'm brainstorming titles over here.
All right, here you go. Well, see, the reality is this is a make good, so they're not actually paying us for this, but you can go over there and give them a bump. We still appreciate them and their support. They give us long time support, so they deserve a good make good bump, I say. And thank you to 1Password. All right, Wes, are you ready to set us up for the next segment as we move right along, sir?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go, boys. In a 3, in a 2.
Well, you heard the client. We got right to work on that Wi-Fi situation, especially because, we wanted to set some servers up, Home Assistant, and we're going to be pulling down a bunch of packages. We wanted a connection that was going to be rock solid, not get in our way, and actually work for Hadia long term. So, it'd been a little while, but we got to work setting up and refamiliarizing ourselves with the OpenWRT1, which I think ultimately was pretty quick to set up, even if it took longer than we would have liked to get everything right.
Okay, so the thing I was kind of the most worried about was networking, and I think we have that working. Though every
8 or 10 pings, I'm getting a dupe error message from the ping command. So you get the ping that comes back with, the milliseconds and all the normal stuff, but then it's got this dupe error next to it.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that either.
I don't know if this is like some sort of double NAT thing that we're hitting, because we are attached. Her OpenWRT1 is attached to a LTE network, so maybe it's a carrier grade NAT thing. I don't know, but seems to be working. And the server's up. It's a basic config, but the server's up. So what's next for the server will be Nextcloud and a KVM and then Home Assistant once we get all that going. Once the basics are done getting configured. You feeling good?
Oh, yeah, we got NixOS running. How could I not feel good?
Of course. Now, so not only were we getting these dupe pings every couple of pings, and honestly, the response time wasn't ideal, but we were thinking maybe we were having some sort of Wi-Fi weirdness in here as well. So I wanted to know what the audience would use at this point. If you think maybe there's a channel congestion, or honestly, we thought perhaps one AP was just spazzing out, because the one has a channel analysis tool in it, which we used, and we could see that everything was just stacked on top of each other, and there's this massive gap in the middle of the spectrum that just wasn't being used. So that's where we went.
Well, we ran into so many ridiculous collisions this time. I mean, not only in like, oh, these are already on the same channel, we should move one of those, but then also in just like, they were all using the most common IP address schemes in the 192.168.
Yes.
So multiple times it was like, we should have just moved this from the start.
Yeah, it was. And then we realized too, like one of the things we could be dealing with is, carrier grade NAT, and there is a shop next to us that has nice Wi-Fi hooked up to fiber, and they have a guest network. So maybe we just take the LTE out of the picture.
Okay, so we're still having some networking problems, and we've bounced around a couple of things. So here's what we've tried. Try to figure out why we're seeing these dupes in our pings, and honestly, we're getting 8 megabits when we should be getting 80.
Yeah, we kind of expected like, okay, maybe up to like 50% loss just from all the extra Wi-Fi and the double hops and all that, but not a factor of 10.
So we also, as a troubleshooting thing, decided to swap over to the neighbor's Wi-Fi, which they have a guest public Wi-Fi that's open, and they're on Ziply fiber, so it's a good solid connection.
Yeah, we're getting like 80 plus minus over there.
And then when we do when we connect to the network directly, we can get 80 megabits. But when we do the bridge from the OpenWRT1 to their public network, again, we're getting like 8 megabits, 10 megabits, and also do pings. So it's got to be the configuration of the OpenWRT, but it's pretty simple, and nothing's jumping out at me. We've tried messing around with Wi-Fi radio channels, and
yeah, we did move to another channel, and that helped a little bit, but no major change.
Yeah.
There are 2 radios, and so
yeah, it's possible maybe we're not using the best radio for this job.
And it may be like falling down to sort of the lowest common denominator of what it can actually talk to our attempted upstream. But we, of course, in this case, we don't actually know what the device we're talking to on the other side is.
That's the problem with this particular troubleshooting technique. So, I mean, it's workable. I mean, 8 megabits you could live on, but it's not the 80 or 90 she should be getting. So I think this is an item that we're going to have to try to figure out. I mean, it's workable for today, but we need to figure it out.
And it turned out we needed to pivot our strategy a little bit. And we also needed, there are 2 different Wi-Fi antennae in this thing, and one is better at the 2.4 gigahertz stuff. And we needed that for the printer. We decided to split the labor up, and Wes worked on a very unplugged solution for something coming up, and we'll get to that in a moment. And he was, banging on a plan B for our internet problems. And I decided to go back to my roots and get into some network printing and network printing troubleshooting, which, trust me, guys, I just love.
Okay, I've been trying to connect. There we go. Oh, my God. So I just got a report from the printer here. It took 5 minutes to print. To tell me what it told me on the screen is that the connection failed. Wow, that's what it was taking so long to print?
It's this black and white page with like monospace font on it.
Is it just because I didn't intercap the AP name?
Oh, maybe.
Like you can't figure that out?
It's got to be exact.
Well, at least I have to tap it all out on this tiny screen again.
It's the world's tiniest.
What is that, the size of a quarter? I mean, oh my gosh. It's stupid.
Well, maybe, do you think we're going to get another fun print after we successfully connect?
I hope so. Well, we know that if I don't successfully connect, we'll get another fun one. I don't even know what's happening here right now, Wes. This is so bad.
So, I mean, I'm a big fan of Brother printers, but the Wi-Fi stack on this relatively new printer, I think it was bought late last year, so bad. Thankfully, the WRT1 is flexible, and I could take that antennae that was good at the 2.4, and I could just really make that a crappy security 2.4 gigahertz dedicated IoT network, which the printer could then join. But it's just got this tiny little UI where you got to scroll through the numbers and tap out like your WPA password and all of that. Absolute murder.
I've recommended that series of printers to so many friends and family, and then had to be the person to connect it to the Wi-Fi network. And in the moment, you're like, why did I do this? They are rock solid once you get it on the network, but that's like the biggest pain point.
Yeah.
The big question, though, Chris, is did you get that thing working?
A credit to Wes. It really was. Wes is the one that figured out that I needed to ratchet down. Definitely, that was like the WPA security.
Yeah, we specifically had to do WPA2, PSK, and then there's a couple other things, BGN compatibility. I don't know, like there was 3 or 4 specific tweaks to like you really had to have a specific mode and a specific cipher that would really play best with. I think one of the LLMs grabbed some of those Ds. Was like, yeah, this is kind of the profile you want to do. And once we got that specific configuration, popped on just fine.
Yeah, what surprised me is when it would do that ridiculous printout, which would take forever, it would identify the network security that it was using in the type. So it had the ability to recognize like WPA3 AES. It just couldn't join it. Which I thought, like, what is that?
And it didn't say that was the reason.
No, it didn't.
That was just a stat on the page.
Yeah.
As helpful as you can be without being any help at all.
Yeah. So, but with that, thankfully, we were able to get that dedicated, what I'm going to call the IoT network, because there'll probably be other IoT devices in the future that have similar problem. That's fine. They're safe. And then really, the thing that I think was our greatest moment was part of all of this. In the background, Wes was pivoting to building a Linux router. And we made a few tweaks to this, including one of the things that we decided while building this Linux router is we're going to get this MiFi into shape. And we're just going to disable Wi-Fi on the MiFi and plug it in over USB directly into a Nix router that we'll have do all the heavy lifting.
Okay, a little pre-lunch pivot. Might regret, but we were just looking at this networking situation and it's just insufficient. And we're not experts in the OpenWRT1. I mean, it's a great little device with great options, but we're fiddling around with the UI. I mean, honestly, it feels like the last 45 minutes to an hour have just been like us exploring a UI to find options.
I think we could get to the UCI stuff underneath and, poke even more.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if that's what we want necessarily, because we don't also know that very well.
Yeah, so we're going to do the right thing, and we're going to set up this server that's our Nextcloud and Home Assistant box to also be our router, DNS, and DHCP box.
And like primary connection to the Wi-Fi that we're using as the upstream.
So it will connect to the upstream Wi-Fi, and then using the Ethernet port, we will connect to the WRT1, which will then share that connection out via Wi-Fi. And we'll just have the Nix server doing the routing and the DNS and the DHCP because that's the interface we understand. And then honestly, it might make it easier for me to make changes from remote too. The more I think about it, now I don't have to try to open up like a web UI in a remote browser kind of thing. Or it's going to be a huge pain in our butt and waste an hour of our time. We'll find out.
I want to ask the audience in particular what tools you would have used to figure out what's going on with these Wi-Fi problems we had. And our solution was just remove as much Wi-Fi from the picture altogether. But this was extremely crowded. I'd say on the low side, there was probably 30 APs that we could pick up.
Easy, yeah.
And some of them were pretty strong. And some of them seemed like businesses, AP1, AP2, AP3, AP4. And then others were obviously residential because it's a mix of business and residential. It's business on the first floor, residential on the second floor.
Right. And like the open, the one isn't like crazy underpowered or anything. I don't know if that's like blasting anything out, but it fine. And we could see things that were at least as strong as it.
Right there.
And it was sitting next to us.
Yes, right there at the desk. So I would like to know what you would use to troubleshoot and analyze Wi-Fi in this situation. Is there a particular tool that's beyond just Wi-Fi Analyzer, or am I discounting Wi-Fi Analyzer on Android? If you could boost in and tell us what you would use, because I think if we did this again, that would be a tool I would like to have in our toolbox to troubleshoot, because I could see that being an issue when we go to places like this. And we were kind of left just blind with what was really going on, with only what we could tell just by, what was in the one and with the tools in the one and what we had on our phones or our laptops. So that was, a challenge. But I think once we moved over to USB and Wes got a nice little basic config going with DNS mask and DHCP and all of that, we had started making some real progress finally on the networking.
Well, progress has been made. We have the networking all set up on the Nix host. It's doing DHCP and DNS, and it's routing out quite nicely. And we're using now the OpenWRT1 as an AP that's connected to the Nix OS box. And I could not tell you why, but our throughput has gone from at best 8 megabits to now 60 megabits. We're not at the 80 we should be, but we're a lot closer. Do you have any thoughts on why?
Blame Nix in a good way. Or the magic of a full Linux kernel on x86. I don't know.
But we're going to take the W where we can take it, and we're going to get Home Assistant spun up. So we're working right now on getting a bridge interface, so that way Home Assistant OS can run in KVM, but essentially get like link level access to the LAN so it can find all the stuff it needs to find. And we're setting up a little Home Assistant config, and then a VM, and then we'll get it booting. I'm looking right now because Wes is doing the rebuild
That's right. Yeah, doing a boot command, getting ready to reboot, maybe with the new fancy bridge actually working.
We'll see. Yeah, we can sometimes get it up, and sometimes it just gets shut down by the system. So, but I think this reboot's going to do it, and then we'll have Home Assistant up and running because it's just the image. Once the VM starts, it's just now we get Home Assistant configured. So we're really close.
Boy, I think we were losing it a little bit there. Clearly, we were getting hungry. We kind of been going in circles for a while. I didn't mention it before, but I think it's worth saying that part of the benefit of moving things over to Nix OS was making sure you didn't have to spend any more time in the OpenWRT1 web interface, which I think maybe might have cost you some sanity.
I realized this about myself in the past, too. I seem to have a threshold of fiddling with GUIs, as I put it. And I've hit it before with TrueNAS. I've hit it with pfSense. I've hit it with Proxmox.
Like we would get to a state, right, where you were like trying to set a particular value that you'd seen where to set it, but then like we're not that familiar with this UI. We used it for one day recently, right? And then so you're trying to hunt through the entire UI to go find it on which page and which button to get to that setting screen.
I'm already spent more than an hour on this, and I thought this would be a 10-minute thing, right? And it's like, I just want to look at it all on one screen. I just want it in a config all on one screen, and then I don't have to hunt like this.
So we thought Nix would be the opposite experience, and for the most part it was, except for this dang bridge.
Yeah.
We would reboot, the bridge would appear, and just for background, right, so what we're trying to do is run Home Assistant in KVM libvirt virtual machine. But obviously, Home Assistant wants to talk to all the stuff on your network.
Yeah,
so
big part of it.
We were going to make a virtual switch, a bridge on the Linux host, and then put the Ethernet address that we're using to talk to the Wi-Fi as the backbone of the network in as a slave to the bridge. And then that would be able to make sure that the VMs that get added and are also added to the ports of the bridge can talk automatically to the network, and it'll just use all the same sort of DHCP setup and just get a regular IP on the network.
The end result being Home Assistant to everything on the network just looks like another device directly on the network, which is that link layer you really need for Home Assistant to do all its magic.
But it would pop up. We would see it coming online successfully. DNS Mask was happy about it.
Hey, there's our BR0. We've got a bridge. Great.
And then it would disappear.
Yeah.
A big, juicy van.
Okay, this is genuinely perplexing. It's got to be Virt Manager, something's messing with us, but we reboot the system, the bridge interface comes up, you can even list interfaces, and for a few seconds you'll see it.
We had the right IP address. I mean, I bet DNS Mask was happy for a moment.
And then, 20 seconds after the system's loaded, the interface shuts down. And we don't have Network Manager running on this system.
Nope.
So that is weird. That's a little problem we thought we just had fixed with that last build, and yet it persists.
This is exactly how network troubleshooting or, quote unquote upgrading always goes when I try it. Yeah. This is why I hate networking. So did you boys just keep at it and try to figure this out and an hour later make progress? Or how did this go?
Well, we came up with a viable solution.
Sometimes you just got to let the machine take a look. So we kind of threw our hands up and we threw the machine at it and said, hey, LLM, review all the logs and figure out why our bridge keeps disappearing. And sure enough, it found a correlation. I think it would have taken us a little while. And it appears to be related to our USB connection to the MiFi that is our primary internet connection, when it goes down and then comes back up, the bridge is getting shut down and then isn't starting again. And we need to make that independent of the rest of it. So it hasn't lined up. It says we can rebuild. So I'd say rebuild and reboot, and let's see if it works. Also, look here, it has a line suggesting that we add USB power management to help. I think it just disconnected because we rebooted. That's why it disconnected.
Yeah, and I think it takes a bit before the interface appears.
Right.
And it might be just enough.
It might be waiting until the host even starts to negotiate before it even creates an interface, because that thing also works for storage. So it can do a USB storage, or it can be a tethering interface. So it may have to do some sort of negotiation. I don't know how that works, but I do like that it found it. Do we have a bridge?
Oh, this is looking better.
We have a bridge.
But
the bridge has disappeared before, so we don't know if we have a persistent bridge.
Oh, okay, good.
It's still there.
Yes, and we just got an IP on our MiFi upstream, which is, I think, when it was failing before.
Yes, that would make sense. Yeah,
Yes.
of course, right.
I think we would have found that, but
yeah,
we only have we don't have a full graphical environment here, so it's not the best for reading through piles of system D-log.
It's just on a console.
But LM is perfect for that.
Yeah, reading through and finding that correlation, I think that solved it. Nice. So now we have a bridge.
Yeah, to really underscore that, what worked super well is Wes was physically at the console. You can imagine what that's like, a little headless workstation or server that we have a monitor attached to. And then I'm on my little laptop and I'm SSH'd in, and I have to give a shout out to OpenCode. This is a killer LLM TUI that really made this quick work, because it just was able to review the logs super quickly, find the correlation, and be like, well, here you go, dummy, this is your problem. And it was something that, yeah, like Wes said, maybe we would have found that. But it found it very quickly. And the great thing about OpenCode is you can connect it to local models. You can connect it to remote cloud models. It has a lot of different options in there.
Open Router easily.
Open Router is super
Any of the
easy.
big cloud providers. Yeah. And they also give you some free usage on their models without even logging in.
Yeah, they have like these Zen models that they've kind of vetted and they host and let you use for a little bit. But the big thing is that it's MIT licensed, it's vendor neutral, and it's perfect for these kind of quick, I need to get something running and diagnose and read through some logs. And I think it made it go a lot faster for us. We probably would have had to burn, another 10, 20 minutes trying to find that correlation.
And it's nice to see this when every other provider has their own version, right? And now you're seeing like folks locking it down more, where only some plans can be used with their particular version of these kinds of tools. So
yeah,
it's nice to have an open source thing for a very useful tool.
If you're playing around with something like Claude Code, you could easily use something like this. Then you're not tied to a particular vendor. You could keep using the Claude stuff if you want. But Open Code is vendor neutral. Like I said, it's MIT licensed, and it's beautiful.
It's really snappy.
It's beautiful. It's fast, and it's got a lot of smart features. And it was just like it was taking a laser at this and just boom, found it right away. Oh, here's your problem. And then it was so obvious. Like, oh, of course, right. Duh.
Okay, so we've got the bridge. It was actually staying around doing its job. So that means the Home Assistant virtual machine could actually start and get on the network and actually start getting configured. It had a bunch of stuff to pull down, some Docker containers, because we're using the whole, Home Assistant OS setup here. But we had a little more work to do.
And the final piece falls into place. We had one last thing to do, and that was
establish a Nebula network.
That's right.
Bidirectional SSH, because otherwise we can't actually do what we need to do.
Yeah. I mean, not only does it mean that we get to wrap up and finish anything that needs to be finished remotely, but that's also what I'll use for offsite backups as well. So it's really good to have that. And that'll be something I can work on from my leisure at home.
And now you can print your lady love notes wherever you are.
Yeah, I signed you up for that. So you better make good on it.
This is awesome. I didn't know you guys were going to do the Nebula part of it. How did that go? And, well, basically, Chris, I'm assuming doing all your work from home is going to be much better than having to deal with the office internet?
Yes, very much so. Just being able to chill and do it from the comfort of home is nice. Or support her when she needs it. Because part of this also is, which didn't work into the clips just for timing, but we have a little basic Nextcloud setup on there, and I'm going to offsite backup that for her. But long story short, the nice thing I really clicked in with Nebula is we didn't have to ask permission from any service or log into any service provider. We just issued ourselves the keys and set up a quick lighthouse, which I almost had completely finished anyways. Just takes no time at all. And then we had a private mesh VPN with no other person, company, entity involved at all. And it's perfect for a clinic, trying to do offsite backups privately.
Yeah, and it was pretty easy to get it kind of connected to the rest of what you needed so that you had a link from your existing setup in there when you do need remote access.
Yeah.
And then Nebula has a lot of nice like firewall rules too, so you can kind of make sure that only the stuff and the directions that you want are allowed.
So we started the show talking about what Hadia wanted out of all of this, and you boys spent all of your time seemingly trying to troubleshoot the network. Did you get there? Like, was she happy with the end result?
Okay, so it took a little longer. It's 6 p.m. I thought we'd be done at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
But here's what we got for you. So that over there is your new server. I'm pointing at the little tiny box.
Great.
We named it Doctor.
Yeah, that's Doctor Server, Server Doctor. And it's going to run your Home Assistant, which you can see we have up and running over there on that screen.
I see it.
And that blue box is the WRT1, and that's going to be doing your Wi-Fi now. Your internet connection is now connected over USB to your server.
Okay.
And so we're just going to need to find a place for all this. But I've tested your printing. The Wi-Fi network is way solid, so the devices shouldn't drop off anymore.
Good.
And your internet is much better than it was. We were having some sort of weird, like IP conflict. I don't know what was going on. But
How'd you solve it without knowing what it was?
we swapped out the hardware and just YOLO'd into using the server to act as a router. And then we switched from using Wi-Fi or Ethernet to connect to the Wi-Fi to using USB.
Oh, that's what I would have done. I should have mentioned that to begin with.
Yeah, that would have saved us some time.
We should have waited for you to
Sorry.
get. We should have waited for you to get
I
back.
didn't want to step on you or woman-splain, you know?
All right. Well, we'll check back in and see how it's working in a few days.
I mean, the core thing she wanted was solid Wi-Fi, and I think we delivered that. The Nextcloud stuff, she and I need to work on more because we need to develop a workflow for how she actually exports her backup data to the Nextcloud.
Yeah.
We haven't worked that workflow out yet. So that remains to be done. And the Home Assistant instance is basic, and so there's some refinement needs to be there. But some of that she'll do on her own. She doesn't mind toying with that. But I think, there's probably room for improvement, but we got the job done. And I actually would like to punt that over to the audience. And, a great way to boost in and support the show is how'd we do? Give us your grade, A to F, what we could improve if we did this out in production for a listener in the future or somebody's Airbnb or small business or home lab, and some Wi-Fi tools. I think would be good. And also just general, what we could have done better.
Or pro tips, setups you like.
I am very happy with how solid we got the internet ultimately. And then the Wi-Fi LAN seems to be very solid too, so she's not going to have the drop off.
Yeah, at least even if there are sort of upstream issues or, service provider, et cetera, at least having a stable LAN means you don't go insane.
And ultimately, the reason why I wanted to use NixOS for doing the DNS and DHCP is because it's just there in the declarative configuration. And so I just need to back that up. And if I ever have to restore her server, I just restore that configuration and all of her core network settings get restored.
That was also handy as we were onboarding the VM and onboarding the printer. And it just was super easy to add reservations and check on things. And yeah.
That's a great point, Wes. As we started to build that stuff up, it was just sort of obvious this was a better route for us to go for the kind of integration we wanted. So I am happy with the results, but there is still a little bit of work left to be done. I think if we hadn't spent so much time troubleshooting the different network stuff.
We did kind of spend half the day getting to the point where we even ended up on the path that was the good path. So
yeah.
That limited our results.
So because we knew the WRT1 was good and we could probably get it working, but just ultimately.
It's really our limited know-how of how to properly utilize it is probably part of it.
Yeah. At the end, though, we switched to our strength, and it worked pretty well. Well, thank you very much to our members. The early year sales are lean, and this is an area where we lean very much on the members to keep things going. There's no understatement there. The members are making these episodes possible, and I really do appreciate it. You can get a membership right now at a great discount. I think we still have some bootleg promo codes to claim for the annual or for the month-to-month membership. You can apply them for the linuxunplugged.com/membership. We'll get you a core membership, and that gets you the unedited bootleg version, now in video in that feed as well, a video version of the show. Wave, boys. Hi. We see we're waving right now to the video version of the show. And then, but notice how we haven't effed up the audio version because we love you. And then also there is an ad-free version of the audio version that's still got all of Drew's great touches that's available for you. And then at Jupiter.party, that's a whole network membership because we have a bootleg thing going for launch and other shows that will eventually also be on there. So that's Jupiter.party for the whole network membership, and then bootleg for the promo code. The bootleg really is where it's at. I got to say, there's some good stuff in there. We had a good bootleg today.
Some sneaky extras, you might say.
Yeah. Thank you very much to our members for making it possible. And of course, everyone who boosts each episode. These are the things that keep us going and sustain the podcast.
This week, we were lucky enough to receive a little update from Olympia Mike, dear friend of the show. He says, "Hey, LUP family. I got a great follow-up to the Holiday Home Lab episode. My little Nick's Book side project has all grown up. The Computer Upcycle Project is now an official nonprofit taking donated hardware, fixing it up, and getting it into the hands of people who need it. Recently, we received a donation of 35 HP ProDesk 600 G5 minis. They're 8th and 9th Gen i5s, 8 to 16 gigs of RAM. They generally have a Serial ATA SSDs in them. They're small, quiet, fast, and easy to upgrade. Now, there is one catch, though. They don't have built-in Wi-Fi, which makes them less than ideal for everyday home desktops. But these things make fantastic little home servers.
Sure.
So here's the deal. I want to offer them completely free to the Linux Unplugged community.
Aww.
You cover the shipping from Olympia, Washington. I send you a box, no strings attached, and you use it for whatever you want. Home lab, server, experiments, chaos. It's up to you.
That is pretty great, Mike. So how do they reach out to Mike if they're interested in covering the shipping and grabbing one of these HP Home Lab boxes?
Yeah, if you're interested, just, shout out to Mike. So it's Mike at computerupcycleproject.org, and you can organize how all that shipping's going to work and where to send these little monsters.
That is so kind and great. And congrats on the nonprofit and just this continuing. Also, I saw we previously mentioned the license discussion that Mike was having with his community.
Right.
Well, they kept going after we talked about it and had some great discussions and reasonings shared from the project side and have ended up going through the steps to get all the approval from all the contributors and are now officially licensed as MIT.
Hey, that's good to hear. I'm glad they got that sorted.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Nice.
right? So it's the next stage of the project in many ways, which is wonderful.
I want to give a huge thank you to listener Alex and also to producer Jeff. They each sent in a Coral USB accelerator for the show, and I grabbed one right away as it came in, and one just came in too. Wes has one now. I, of course, hooked mine up to Frigate. I have now Frigate with accelerated detection, and I'm really liking it. So if people are interested in an episode on Frigate, the open source DVR, where you can take a bunch of different kind of camera feeds and put them into one DVR and keep it all local. And with this accelerator, I'm doing, millisecond face detection now and stuff like that, and object detection and motion detection. And so we have the second one here because listener Alex and PJ were both very generous. And so while we have it around, we should play audio tagging, Wes. You were looking at ways to maybe do a little tagging with audio and whatnot with the Coral. Chatted about that. So I think that could be a fun project.
It does seem like there's got to be some wacky fun things we can do with this thing.
Mm-hmm. And Brent, rumor has it there may be a third one if you make it over here sooner or later.
Whoa, I'm on my way.
We don't know. Maybe it ends up, sneaking out in the hands of somebody else. But thank you, Alex, and thank you, PJ. Really appreciate that. And would love to hear what you can do with the West and be happy to do a report on Frigate if people are interested. Just let us know.
Indeed.
And now it is time for Le Boost.
Well, we received a baller boost. Wait, there's several baller boosts here, but the top one, 100,000 sats from CJ Macademy.
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 Yes, CJ Macademy.
All right. 100,000
Thank you
sats.
for the boost. Well, CJ Macademy says, "Hey, I've been a weekly listener for about 2 years now.
Thank you, CJ.
I am a macOS system admin with a little prior Linux experience, and the show was recommended to me by one of our company's Linux devs as a place to dive into Linux. Well, long story short, I run Nix packages and NixOS on everything possible now. So here's some value for value. See you all at scale and Planet Nix."
Oh, great.
Yes.
Looking forward to that. Wonderful.
CJ.
Thanks for saying hi.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Glad to hear that. Interesting, too, because I think that's a really neat demonstration of the demographic that listens to the show as well. And I'm glad to hear that these tools are useful on all the platforms out there. Thank you, CJ. Appreciate you being our baller booster. Mr. Hybrid Sarcasm's back with a nice 25,000 sats. Well, wouldn't you know it? He's on to Actual Budget. When I saw the Actual Budget supports multiple users via OIDC, is that the Excel connection?
No, that's OpenID.
Okay. Oh, right. I'm thinking of whatever it used to be where you could connect Excel to SQL
I
servers.
love that idea.
I'm like, what is he
Maybe you
doing?
can
Because I'm thinking
bridge
budgets, right? I'm thinking spreadsheets. I implemented Pocket ID. Oh, there you go. I should have just read the next sentence in my home network. It's game-changing to log into an app using a passkey stored in Bitwarden. Now I'm ODicking all the things. I have been very tempted by this too. In fact, this is what makes me a little pro passkey, is a setup very much like this. And also I think using Bitwarden or a 1Password password manager makes it a lot smoother.
For sure, yeah.
But then you got to kind of commit for a while. So consider that. That's why I like hybrid setup here. That's something I could commit to.
Yeah, very nice work, hybrid.
I could dick all over the place. I'll
Curious
tell
how you
'cause-
like Actual Budget too. That's when I've been curious about that.
Yeah, good call.
The dude abides in with McDuck's 22,222 cents.
This old duck still got it.
You brought back some memories with the disk burner.
Oh, good.
I remembered I used to use Nero on Windows and K3B and Bracero on Linux.
Used all those, yep.
I don't know why, but I specifically remember the Taiyo Yuden DVDs, buying them by the hundreds back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I bought an LG Blu-ray writer in 2023, actually.
Same.
A flashable version, WH16NS40.
That was the one.
But I hardly ever used it.
Uh-huh.
If when I ever get it out of storage, I might give this cold storage idea a go.
Do it.
Thanks for the content, as always.
And I was reminded via email this morning, when it comes to optical media, why not burn two? Because one is none, after all. And you never know when it comes to optical storage. So thank you very much. Appreciate that, dude abides. Good to hear from you.
Well, Johnny Castaway boosted in a Spaceballs boost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Satoshis.
So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm just passing this along for your perusal. It's a little Reddit thread. It's only an open source 1 petabyte NAS. No big deal.
Oh.
Seems doable, right? Might try building this one myself after FOSDEM this month.
That's a lot of
Signed.
spinning rust. Wow, man.
You seem like you're sweating a little bit?
I just get a little nervous about babysitting that much spinning rust, but that would be cool. You know, it's using one of these open enclosures. I do love that idea. The enclosure is printed, and then it has the back planes in there and wiring channeling for it. And I mean, it looks really slick. It can hold up to 45 disks. So, yeah, that's how you get to a petabyte, right? 45, 24 terabyte disks.
That's absolutely.
Woo, that's pain.
We could just build one of these for the JB colony to use, you know? Put it in space or something, and we can all access it and have some offsite backups.
Maybe we'll even contribute to the IPFS network. You never know. You never know.
A network can dream.
Wow. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it. Hey, there's Gene Bean. He's here with 4,813 sats. I think he wants some mac and cheese.
Put some macaroni and cheese on there, too.
He says, I'm using Backblaze B2 for my backups. It's the way to go, in my opinion. And he says, Chris, you made me nostalgic with your Blue Vault project. And he links me to the old Svelte CD DVD case that many of us had.
Yes, look at this.
With the plastic bindings where you slide
96 disk capacity.
Yeah.
I think I still have one of those, actually. It's got a couple
Hey, it works for
Ubuntu
car,
disks in
home,
there.
office, or travel.
Honestly,
You need backups everywhere.
it's actually a good idea. That is actually a really good idea. Because what am I going to do? Have a stack of jewel cases like an animal, or I could have one pack, and it's only $10. I think.
Did
Jim
any of
Bean's
you
onto it.
have one of these in your car? So that you
Oh
could
yeah,
just,
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I also had the one that clipped onto the visor where it just had.
Yeah, the quick switch.
Yep. That was
You
great.
pro.
And he shouts out to Unify for a great Wi-Fi hardware and edge stuff. So thank you, Gene. Appreciate you, sir. Always great to hear from you.
Well, PC NullRef boosts in with 5,000 cents.
Oh.
Don't forget to do a dedicated burn for Jar Jar.
You always want to have an extra burn for Jar Jar, right? Because one is none, and Jar Jar needs at least one.
Mr. Boston with happiness seeing you again.
Doornail 7887 boosted in a row of ducks. Damn it, Chris, your timing is quite suspicious. I just wrote a very similar app.
Oh, really?
Which is, granted, it's a Python-based app, for backing up my ever-growing data to a suite of old, small offline hard drives I keep in a safe. I pull them out regularly and was manually managing which data went on which drive, but that was getting quite a bit out of hand, and I needed some automation. Maybe you should consider more than just optical destinations?
You know, if I could find a nice stash of spinning rust, that's probably the way I would go. If I had... Or maybe if I dug through all the systems here in the studio, I could probably come up with a few terabytes. You know what I mean? I just have to spread it across
just
a lot.
Just pull them out of those old lap stocks.
Yeah.
Why do I think that every raid you make is a scary raid?
No kidding, right? Except for my raid 1. I had to do a raid 1 over the week to save my Butterfest install. That one's legit.
Fair.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Dornell. Appreciate that. Limillis? What do you think there, Wes? What would you give that one? Amillis comes in.
Millis.
Yeah. It's good, though. I like it. It's good. It's good. They come in with 4,000 sats.
Oh my God, this drawer is filled with Fruit Loops.
Wow, check this out. Party member and listener since 2020.
Nice.
On the self-hosted show and then added Lup. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Fun will now commence.
So I ran out of episodes to listen to. This is my first boost. Hey!
Welcome. Thank you for figuring it all out.
Nicely done.
He said, oh, good. I use Frigate on an Intel system, and you could try out OpenVINO. It's a detector rather than getting a Coral TPU. It utilizes the iGPU on 6th gen and later Intel CPUs. Inference time on my 6th gen has been reliable in the sub 20 millisecond timings, compared to the 9 to 10 you get on the Coral.
Not bad.
Ran it for about 6 months. This is a great field report because we were talking about OpenVINO behind the scenes and maybe doing an episode on it. And I want to know if you could tell me, and this is something I should look into, but I have an Intel Arc, one of the first generation Intel Arcs, in the machine here in the studio, and could I use OpenVINO to start doing inference on that Intel Arc? Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, and then we could have it. Maybe it could watch Brent, and we could tell when he sneaks away, or if there's a cat in a frame or not.
Definitely, and then whenever there's a cat in the frame, we just switch to him.
Exactly,
for the clicks and the views. Thank you, everybody.
Maybe we should.
Should we pull up adversaries?
Yeah, there's a pullable.
Yeah, let's do it.
So adversaries comes in here with 1701 sats, which
Fun will now
maybe we
commence.
should have an exception in the script for that one. I don't know. I officially volunteer to help with Blue Faults. Sounds like something I've been wanting to do for a while, and Rust is my preferred language.
Oh, really?
Send me a message on Matrix or Signal if you want to discuss.
Well, I think
Very
we should.
nice.
Signal, huh? Let's hook up on Signal.
Whoa.
You'll be
feeling okay?
I know. It'll be my second person on Signal ever. How
you
cool is
haven't
that?
added me yet? I feel so...
Dude, you haven't.
Are we
you are
friends even?
You are the Signal ambassador in the friend group.
I
here.
didn't know you were on it. You were so against it for years.
Not
You were
again.
like,
I ain't
"No,
again
Signal."
it. I just didn't need it. I ain't again it. I ain't again it. I just didn't
All right,
need it.
We'll talk later.
I thank you. I did get a couple of PRs.
Nice.
And I got an issue or two, and I resolved a couple of them. I think the hot dog colors are still outstanding. But
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
I'll be getting around to that. I'm sure. Yeah. What does GitHub do with issues or PRs that sit around for a while? Is there like a stale bot that comes around? And
I mean,
them
you
up,
can
or-
set those things up, or I could push some updates. Is that
you want to just write it yourself? You feel like doing a little rusty-roo?
Well, I could.
I knew it would come to this.
I could get some help.
All right, thank you everybody who boosted this episode to support us directly. We had 24 of you stream them sats as you listened to the show, and you all collectively stacked 35,406 sats. This is one of those nice boosts in this episode. And when you combine that with our boosters who also sent us a message, this episode stacked 212,809 sats. Not bad at all. Fountain FM is going from win to win, making it easier and easier to boost. There's also some self-hosted options. Just look into AlbiHub, and you can find a bunch of great apps at newpodcastapps.com. Thank you, everybody who supported this episode. Okay, this week we have two picks, and I'm pretty tickled with both of them. And Wes, you've been playing around with Pocket TTS.
Yes, 100 million parameter model, text-to-speech, voice cloning abilities, small enough to run in real time easily on your laptop CPU.
On the CPU, so this is voice cloning anyone can play with.
That's right.
So probably should set expectations because you said it's kind of a smaller.
Yes, that's right. It's not like a giant thing, 100 million parameter model. That's pretty small by modern standards, but that's what lets it run on your laptop CPU.
Yeah.
And it's just a pip or a UV install away.
So here's a little comparison just to set the expectations. We're going to play a clip of Editor Drew. First will be the original Drew, and second will be the Pocket TTS version of Drew.
I get so mad.
All right, that's real Drew, and here is Pocket Drew.
I get so mad.
Right? And Wes, why don't you say it?
I get so mad.
I get so mad.
I get so mad.
Brent, why don't you give it a go?
I get so mad.
I get so mad.
Brent's is, I think, the furthest off.
Yeah.
I get so mad.
I get so mad.
Okay, here's Chris. I get so mad.
I get so mad. I get so mad.
I like that one.
That's actually kind of fun. I like the little extra it added in there. So you can play around with it and get different results. And you probably weren't giving it like the most amazing sample.
No, so this was literally, I just took, Editor Drew is kind enough to clip and save our predictions so that we have them to review for next year.
Yeah.
I took the smallest or shortest samples of those, one for each of us. So it's like 30 seconds or less of audio. So and that's all it got is a
one-sentence thing.
Yeah. But pretty neat, and all on your laptop CPU, right? Yep. So that's pretty cool, too. Just a little Python.
Yeah, it has a UI you can do, and then it has an interface. You just upload your sample wave. You do probably want to, a few things like make it 16-bit depth, and there's a few other things that are nice for these kinds of generative audio in particular, but real easy upload in the UI. It has a text box to type in what you want, then you hit generate, and it'll stream it right back to you.
Yeah, you could put anything right now and do it live, and they can render it in the browser. That's a pretty good demo right there.
Small enough to fit in your pocket.
There you go. Just played that live in the webpage.
Yeah, and it's got, of course, built-in ones that you can use. If you do want to do the voice cloning on your own, then you do need to have a Hugging Face account. They are open models, but you have to sign in and do a little agreement that says you're not going to abuse them or use it for whatever variety of nefarious things.
Okay.
But it's only like 250 meg download, and you're ready to do voice cloning.
That's so good. So this next pick is for...
Also, I just want to say,
no, go ahead.
This opens the absurd possibility of, having Chris or, recording your own voice and then having it read your own audiobooks or reading audiobooks back for
you. Chris would like his audiobooks read as Shatner.
Okay. I thought, whoa, there you go. I would. But I thought of a scenario like maybe when my kids were young and I was traveling and I wanted to have some books for them that I was reading to them. Like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, is that weird? Maybe I might actually consider it if it was close. That could be kind of sweet. We'll see. Maybe it'd freak me out. I'm not sure. All right, this next pick is for those of us that like to slap an Android tablet on the wall and make a Home Assistant dashboard, or maybe a Frigate dashboard, or whatever, Grafana. I don't know what you do. You got dashboards for days. But the key of it is you just want this dedicated tablet that does nothing but show your dashboard. Maybe it has some settings for when the lights go out, it goes to sleep. It refreshes if the Wi-Fi goes out. And ideally, maybe you could even centrally manage some of the settings from like Home Assistant or an automation platform. And Fully Kiosk has served this role for many years. It's a great app. In fact, it's still a little better what I'm about to talk about, but it's commercial and it's not cheap. And when you start having 5 or 6 tablets over the years and you're paying like $30 a tablet, you're like, is there a way to do this for free? Well, friends, let me tell you about WebView Kiosk. You can turn any Android device into a lockdown, full-page, full-screen kiosk. And yes, of course, it is open source. It's AGPL 3.0. So it's WebView Kiosk, and you can get it directly from GitHub or F-Droid or Google Play. And it works essentially like I just described. The way you do the remote management features is through MQTT, which I'm an MQTT pro now, so no problem for me. But once you hook up MQTT to this thing, you don't have to, but once you do, you can monitor events, you can update settings remotely, you can execute commands on the tablet, and of course you can build automations. So you do need a Mosquito broker, like a Mosquito or something like that. And it's really great. And it has all kinds of permissions, so you can access the camera feed if you want. You can make sure it's the foreground application. You could even you could access the speakers and play audio on it. It's very feature complete. It's not a fully kiosk killer, but WebView-Kiosk, we'll have a link in the show notes, is a free way to get a lot of the functionality. And when you, like for me, I like to watch for Black Friday, and I try to snipe the cheapest, best 11-inch or so Android tablet I can get. And for a couple of years in a row, I've picked up like an $80, $85 tablet that lasts me 2-3 years running a piece of software, formerly Fully Kiosk, but probably this going forward. And this is how and then in each different areas, I have dashboards for that area of the home, and this is how most of my interactions and my family's interactions with Home Assistant are.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems I haven't tried it yet, but when I saw this floating around, I thought you might like it.
Yeah, good.
It's 100% Kotlin, so it's, I think, probably pretty snappy and new.
And probably would work even on some of these slower, like Android Fires.
Yeah, and it's a GPL 3.0.
That's nice, right?
Pocket TTS is MIT, by the way.
Yes. So we'll have links to that in the show notes. Now, what'd you say? Show notes, Chris? Yes. In fact, things are copiously linked, including the hardware we talked about and all of that at linuxunplugged.com/650. Halfway to the big 700. So we'd love it if you found time to join us live and make it a Linux Tuesday on a Sunday. That's right, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern over jblive.tv.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.
And now for our members, we have a video version of the show in their feed. It is just part of the Podcasting 2.0 spec, so it is the same RSS feed. You don't have to resubscribe or change anything. If you have a Podcasting 2.0 app like Fountain or Podverse that supports video, you now have a video version of the show, and we're not going to mess up the audio version one little bit. It's still our top priority. It's just an option that's available for our members, or you can catch it over at jblive.tv. And, there's other things in that feed, too, like extra data, say transcripts or whatnot, Wes.
Oh, yeah, we got transcripts, diarization, so you know who's saying what silly thing. We've also got cloud chapters, so you can go right to your favorite segment.
Yeah, that's nice, too. All right, you don't want to hear about the pick. That's fine. Actually, the picks are great.
That's on you, but maybe jump right to the picks.
Yeah.
Who cares about our printer problem? Get to the picks.
All right, thank you so much for tuning this week's episode of your Unplugged program. This is a fun one to get out in the field and fix somebody's problems for the real world stuff. Even if it was the wife, it was a good dipping the toe in the water.
Yeah, she has high standards.
And happy wife, happy life. That keeps the show going, too. Like I said, links over at linuxunplugged.com, and then we got a bunch of great shows over at jupiterbroadcasting.com. Check out The Launch with Angela and myself, and sometimes Brent, too.
The best way to check it out is to call.
Yeah, that's true. Weeklylaunch.rocks for that. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's program, and we'll see you right back here next Tuesday, which is really a Sunday.
You boys are coming to my place next to fix the network, right? Please, help me. I hate building PCs.
All right. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you. I'll stop, Renly. I'll stopping.